Hello everyone. Today, I'm going to tell you the inspiring and emotional story from the Diary of Anne Frank, written by Anne Frank herself. This chapter is taken from the Diary of a Young Girl, which is a real-life diary written by Anne, a Jewish girl, during World War II when the Nazis were persecuting Jews in Germany and other countries. Anne's diary is not just a book, it's the voice of a young girl expressing her hopes, fears, and dreams while hiding from danger. Anne Frank was a 13-year-old Jewish girl living in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. On her 13th birthday, June 12, 1942, she received a diary as a gift. She decided to treat the diary as her closest friend and named it Kitty. She wrote everything she felt, her emotions, her experiences, her school life, and her life in hiding, as if she were writing letters to a dear friend. Anne felt lonely and misunderstood. She had many people around her, family, classmates, but she didn't feel she could truly confide in anyone. So, she started writing in a diary to express her true feelings and thoughts. She wanted her diary to become her best friend who would never judge her. In her writings, Anne talks about her school days, her classmates, and her teachers. She describes how everyone was worried about their final exams, especially maths. And says that she was a bit of a chatterbox. She used to talk a lot in class. Because of this, her maths teacher, Mr. Keesing, often scolded her. One day, as a punishment, Mr. Keesing asked Anne to write an essay on a chatterbox. Anne cleverly wrote that talking is a student's habit, and she inherited it from her mother, so it was her natural trait. Everyone laughed, including Mr. Keesing, but he gave her another punishment essay, this time on an incorrigible chatterbox. Again, Anne wrote it creatively, showing how she could turn even scolding into humor. Finally, he gave her one more topic, quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. Anne wrote this essay as a funny poem about a mother duck and ducklings being punished for quacking too much. It was so funny that the whole class laughed, and even Mr. Keesing couldn't stay angry. He understood Anne's wit and sense of humor and stopped giving her punishment. Through her diary, we see Anne's bright and honest personality. She was intelligent, curious, and emotional, just like any teenager. But behind her cheerful words, there's also a shadow of fear and uncertainty, because she and her family were living during one of the darkest times in history, the Nazi occupation. Later, Anne and her family went into hiding in a secret place called the Secret Annex. Here, they had to live in silence and stillness, always listening for the fear of being discovered. They were joined by another family, the Van Pels, and later a dentist named Fritz Pfeffer. Life in the secret annex was filled with tension and anxiety. They had to be incredibly cautious, fearing each sound that could reveal their hiding place. Despite the grim circumstances, Anne continued to write. Her diary became a source of comfort, a place where she could express herself freely. She wrote about the beauty of nature, her dreams for the future, and her thoughts on the world around her. And also reflected on her identity and how she felt being a Jewish girl in hiding. She longed for freedom and the chance to live a normal life. Anne's writing displayed an extraordinary depth of understanding and insight for someone her age. However, alongside her hopes and dreams, there was always the looming threat of danger. Sadly, their refuge was discovered in August 1944, and Anne and her family were arrested. They were taken to a concentration camp, a place where many lost their lives. Anne's experience was heartbreaking, yet she continued to write. She saw the struggles and suffering around her, but still held on to her hope and humanity. Anne died in a concentration camp in 1945, just a few weeks before the camp was liberated. However, her diary was found and published later, becoming one of the most powerful books ever written, a symbol of hope, courage, and humanity. Anne's voice continues to resonate through her words. Her diary reminds us of the importance of honesty, self-expression, and the resilience of the human spirit. Even in the darkest times, hope and positivity can shine through. Anne teaches us that words have power. Her diary became her voice that the world still hears today. From the Diary of Anne Frank isn't just the story of a girl, it's the story of every young person who dreams, feels, and believes in goodness, even when the world seems cruel. Anne's journey reflects the struggles of many, and her words have the ability to inspire people to stand up for justice and equality. As we read her diary, we are reminded of the importance of compassion, understanding, and the strength found in unity. Each page of her diary echoes with the thoughts and feelings of a young girl who dared to dream of a better world. Today, we remember Anne Frank not just as a victim of the Holocaust, but as a brave voice that speaks out against oppression. Her legacy teaches us to never take our freedoms for granted and to always fight against injustice. Thank you for listening to the story of Anne Frank, a story that continues to inspire generations and reminds us of the power of hope in the written word.